At the end of a very green-looking vicarage lane in the village of Mundon, Essex, surrounded by the delightful sound of birdsong, sits my favourite of all Essex churches. Mundon St Mary. Although not exempt from the drone of overhead aircraft, St Mary occupies an idyllic location. Its timber west tower dates from the early 16th century and provides the most distinctive view of the church. Also of great interest at this church is the Jacobean porch, difficult to age, but with the amount of features present is likely to date from around 1600. Considered the finest of its kind in the county, it sports a huge amount of carved decorative detail in the spandrels, with pendants hanging from the lower eaves of the gable.
East end of Mundon St Mary is just as characteristic as the west end or the west tower, to be honest. Difficult to capture properly without wide angle lenses, which I'm afraid I don't have on this camera at the moment. When I first came here, the window was similar, but in rather sorry state, rather sagging and a bit worn out. If we go around the other side, we can see all sorts of changes and different archways that have been added and removed at different points. Like this great arch here, which no doubt led into a south chapel or aisle at some point in time. This window is obviously Tudor in style. The original, probably 16th century brickwork. And then over here, yet another old door filled in. Who knows when it was made and when it was removed. You can still see clearly the wooden lintel above the door. Well, welcome to the interior of what is my favourite Essex church. Many of the viewers of this will know that I rave on about this church, but to me it truly is the most special one in the county. This is Mundon St Mary, as you'll already know by the title of the video, but I always see this one as like coming back to visit an elderly relative or something. Nana Mundon. The base of the west tower is sometimes described as having north and south aisles. I don't never really understand that definition myself, but that's the way it is. This being the north aisle, looking like there's still some strengthening poles from the conservation work that took place. And here is the south aisle.
I don't really think it matters a jot whether you're religious or not. The most bold linguistic statement on entering St Mary is this huge phrase, "Behold the Lamb of God."
When I first visited this church back in 2004, you had to enter via the north porch. The entrance underneath the west tower at that time was blocked. The door wouldn't open. The whole building was shifting. It was in a rather sorry state. In fact, I felt like I was dicing with death even coming into the church, because as you walked up to the chancel and the like, although it was so appealing and so enticing, the whole church, because the style of it, which is almost, well, encapsulated in times gone by. You came to the chancel and the ceiling was cracked and crazed, and to be honest, the church looked as though it was ready to fall down. The outside of the chancel had some huge cracks in it, and subsequently to that, though, I think between 2005 and over subsequent years, a lot of work was undertaken by the Friends of Friendless Churches with help from English Heritage, which effectively repaired the church. And what a good job they made too. I mean, the ceiling now is immaculate. The work was undertaken by Bakers of Danbury in several phases. It was made extremely difficult by the fact that some burial vaults underneath the church were causing the very foundations of the church to move. So a lot of stabilising work had to be undertaken. There's so much in this church though. It's not only the general feel of it, but the paintings everywhere. Even up to the top, with the painting meant to look like a curtain that could be pulled down over the east window, with all the shadow and the like. Really quite unusual in a church. Even in the work at the top of the Lord's Prayer, you can see the imitation knot and pin in the wall to make it look like the painted on sign was actually hung.
The nave of St Mary retains a full set of 18th century box pews, which only serve to add to the charm of the interior.